Good afternoon and evening to everybody. I'm Stuart from All Things Sky Blue. I'm joined by Mark. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everyone who's listening. Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. Obviously, we're part of All Things Sky Blue. This is going to be a game preview of Bristol City against Coventry City that we're playing on Saturday at the weekend. Shortly, we'll be joined by Eve, a Bristol City fan and co-founder of Her Game 2. So let's bring Eve in now. Good afternoon, Eve. How are you?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. You just got in from work, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm ready, looking forward to football following the international break, so I'm in the zone.
Yeah. Have you missed it? Do you like the international break or not?
I don't know. No, you know what? No. I think we've got another one coming up in November as well, which I didn't realise.
Yeah.
They're so often at the moment, and I feel like you get into a swing of it. And there's so many games to try and jam into the championship as it is, isn't it? So when you're having these regular breaks, it just seemed like we've got a lot to pack in afterwards. But yeah, looking forward to getting back to Ashton Gate on Saturday.
Yeah, I can imagine. Mm-hmm. Lovely. Right, so Eve, if you can just introduce yourself, where we can find you if you do any podcasts of yourself. Obviously, we know that you're a co-founder of the of Her Game 2. So if you just want to mention it briefly about what you guys do.
Yes, so I am a director and co-founder of Her Game 2. We did have a podcast that is currently on hold at the moment. But to be honest, I'm often popping up on similar podcasts to yourselves when we're playing teams. It's a really good opportunity to just get more information out about what Her Game 2 are doing. So yeah, we are a CIC, which was set up by 12 female football fans to raise awareness to sexism, which currently exists within football, but also to create opportunities for more women and girls to get into football, whether that be fans, playing, working in the industry, create more opportunities and continue to raise awareness to the sexism that happens and try and help eradicate that.
And how are you finding that at the moment? Is it? Do you feel it's getting better?
Yes, I think it is. I think the awareness definitely is. When we first started, a lot of people didn't realise that these kind of issues still existed. So we are seeing an increase in the amount of reports that we're getting and that clubs are getting, but that could be down to a number of factors, which includes people understanding that now they can report these issues. A lot of the time it kind of used to be brushed off that just comes with being a female football fan and it's just like part of the package, but people are understanding now that when the clubs have got reporting systems for, rightly so, being able to report racism, homophobia, discrimination, that does include discrimination against female fans as well.
Yeah, it's just making sure that people know that it's okay to say something, because I think that's the hardest part, isn't it? Not feeling that you're able to say anything, but it's making sure that you know that you are okay, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to have a range of different platforms or ways to say something. So if you do hear something on the concourse, then it could be intimidating or feel inappropriate to confront someone, maybe face to face. So knowing that there are things in place such as the reporting systems or being able to speak to a steward or the club, and then knowing that it will be dealt with that way as well. So we don't expect everyone to be there starting fights on the concourse if they hear things, for example, but it's just about like having that awareness and knowing that they can report it and that they will be listened to, and people will do things about it if the person who's reported wants something done about it.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. Anything to add to that, Mark, or anything that you want to ask?
I think it's a per game team. Obviously, is a very, very important movement in football, and I think also the growth of the England women's team, who've done really, really well in the World Cup, and it's just very unfortunately couldn't go that one step further and win. But I think women's football in the game is really growing at a rapid pace, and I think it's great to see. So long may that continue, and I think it wouldn't be surprising to see maybe female coaches get taken up men's positions. Talk about someone like Emma Hayes, who I think is a fantastic coach. I know Forest Green they did appoint a female manager at the start of the season, but obviously that only lasted about a few days. A bit silly. I just thought it didn't come across as being that serious. But no, I think the game is going in the right direction. Football's for everybody, and I've got nieces in my family, and they love football. So it's a great game, and like anything, it's not about the colour of the skin or the sex. It's about everyone liking the same thing. That's football. So, and I think her game team are doing a great job in promoting football for women, and definitely I think it's definitely growing in popularity in the female game, and I think her game team have got to take a lot of credit for that.
Excellent. Right, so let's move on to the game in hand, shall we? Saturday at Ashton Gate. So, look, the history of it, the past 6 games, so the history for me really is I never thought, every time that we played Bristol City, I felt growing up that we lost. And me growing up, I was, there was Michael Mackindo, who we eventually signed off Bristol City. And he just seems, I think he scored 12 goals in total for you, I think. And it just seemed like all of his goals come against Coventry City for some strange reason. He just seemed to score against us. So what's your memory of past Cov games?
So one stand-up one for me, I didn't actually go to this one, but it's when you were playing at Northampton. So it was a Sunday, because I remember I had a stint of working at McDonald's for like 8 months, and I only worked on Sundays so I could go to football, and then that game was on a Sunday, and I'm pretty sure it was a really high scoring game, and I'm sure we lost it, and it might have been something like 5-4, but at half time, I think I managed to text my brother to see what the score, and I'm pretty sure we were winning. And then, we ended up either drawing or losing it, which is a very Bristol City thing to do, which then brings me on to the one which I'm still shell-shocked from. It was around Bonfire Night a few years ago at Anissa de Rico then, at the CBS Arena. And, we were winning 2-1. And then you had a player sent off, and then you managed to come away with the 3 points. And I honestly don't think I spoke for about an hour after that game. I was just not even surprised, because it was just a very Bristol City thing to do.
I just want to add that was my niece's first game. Let's watch Coventry at CBS.
Well, what a game to go to.
Yeah, so she enjoyed it.
So our last 6 games, then you have lost 3. So we've won 3, we've lost 1, and that was in the cup when we actually last season when we had to go to Burton, and it was played at Burton. And we've drew the past 2 games that we've played. We've actually drew them. So, I think the tide's kind of turning into our favour a little bit. Obviously, we'll go on to a few of your players that you've got, and a few injuries that I've heard about as well. That's for you guys. But do you feel at the moment they're all close games, or do you think that one's due, whether it's Bristol City or Coventry's due for a big win?
So, in terms of our games this season, the last few games,
yeah.
So I didn't go to. So our last game was Leeds, which we lost. Obviously, a really tricky place to go. It was at Ellen Road, and I feel that we are like really consistently inconsistent, and you just honestly don't know what team are going to turn up on the day. And by all accounts, at Leeds, a lot of the players were off their game. But then speaking to Leeds fans, a lot of them were saying that we were unlucky to not come away with anything. So it's really interesting to hear those fans saying that we've been one of the best teams to go there this season. Yeah, our fans coming away saying, "Oh, like we weren't good enough." But I think that just could be down to some miss. I think we had a chance saved off the line. So, like for example, that could mean that we could have come away with a point. I feel that we have been quite lucky with a few of our recent games where we haven't played too well. For example, Rotherham, that was the picked for Sky, and up until 80 minutes, it was one of the most boring games I've ever been at. And then we managed to come away with 3 points, so that's a really good end to the game. But then we the Stoke game, managed to throw away a lead there as well. And up until then, we seemed to play quite well. And again, came away from that a little bit shell-shocked. So I feel that I'm not sure what it is. Our away record seems to be a lot better than our home record. And I can't really pinpoint why that is particularly. But it's whoever turns up on the day, and it literally could be. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a landslide one way, or if it is going to be a draw.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Anything to add, Mark?
In terms of personnel, I mean, Nigel Pearson generally likes to set up like a 4-3-3 formation. Is that a formation that you expect to see ahead of this game?
Potentially. I think depending on who is fit to come back, and also we've had a couple of players who have been out at, who've been playing over the international break, so that could have a chance to change the formation. Probably either 4-3-3 or maybe 4-2-3-1, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't in my head.
I could see the cogs turning.
Yeah.
Bless you. Oh, sorry, Mark. Go on.
No, I was just going to. Sorry, Stuart. I was going to ask about like Jay Da Silva, because obviously we've signed him. What was Bristol City's thoughts on Jay Da Silva? Was he a player who was highly regarded by your fans, or was you happy to see the back of him?
I was devastated to see him go. Honestly, I loved him. I feel like it was a bit of a split with our fans. People, they weren't happy to see him go, I don't think. But he was one of those who he got quite a bit of stick. And, when once fans have got that set, they've got that mindset that something about a player, and then every bad thing if he had a bad game, it'd be like, oh yeah, of course he has. But I loved him, and I loved how he seemed to win everything in the air, and I thought he was a really exciting player as well. So I'm looking forward to him coming back, because I was really disappointed to see him go.
Okay, yeah, because that was going to be one of my questions. Moving on to the sort of the links, if you like, to the two sides. So obviously, I mentioned Michael McIndoe, which was a fair few years ago, but most recently, obviously, Mark's just mentioned Jay Da Silva. But you've had I call him KP anyway, Casey Palmer. How do you feel about Casey?
Again, I feel that he was a really exciting player and had a lot of potential, but for some reason just never really fit into the team, or never fit into Nigel Pearson's style of play. And yeah, that it was a shame to see him go, but also recognising that he is a very talented, exciting player, and to see him fit into a team, and he seems to be a lot more comfortable at Coventry. So that, as a general football fan, that is nice to see. I believe that he is still injured. If not, then he probably 100% would score or will score against us on Saturday.
Well, hopefully he might be back. I'm not sure whether he's going to be back in time for Bristol, but I think he is due back at any point. And obviously the other one is Matty James, that we had him on loan when he was from Leicester. And then we had a chance to sign him, but obviously working with Nigel Pearson again just kind of trumped us, I think, a little bit. And I believe, is he your captain now as well?
Yeah, he is.
How do you feel about Matty James?
I just sound really positive at the moment, so I really like him. So working at Leicester, the people there, they all love him as well, but I think they found it hilarious that he was even still playing. I when I said he was captain, and so he scored. It was an absolute worldie at Millwall back in August, and they couldn't believe it. They were like, "What? He's still scoring!" So yeah, I really like him. And as you say, the relationship that he's got with Nigel Pearson, that can, you can attribute that to the success that he is having on the rest of the team as well. But yeah, I like him.
Good. Obviously, you've had quite a, I wouldn't say necessarily a busy transfer window back in August, but you had 7 come in and you had 8 go out. The most notable players that I've sort of found was Jason Knight from Derby, central midfielder, and Rob Dickey as well from QPR centre back. How do you think that your new signings have bedded in? Do you think there's still plenty to come from them, or are they playing really, really well, or not so much?
So Jason Knight, I think he's unbelievable. He has been our Alex Scott replacement, and a very different player to Alex Scott. And whereas Alex Scott was more individual skill, Jason Knight, you can see how he kind of brings the whole team together. And I think he's just like a little Duracell bunny. He's just won't stop. And he's really exciting to watch as well. But from what I heard, at Leeds, he didn't have a very good game. And that was apparently his worst game so far in a City shirt. And then he is then playing for Ireland over the international break, so he probably could have benefited from a week off because apparently I just got described as being burnt out. And then I believe he did play for Ireland, but then talking to Ireland fans, I think they said that he was kind of off his game as well. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if he doesn't start on Saturday. Okay. But up until that Leeds game, I think he's been unbelievable. Dickey, a really good signing as well. So Zach Viner is injured at the moment, and Dickey's been his replacement, and he has. We've really missed Viner anyway, but now we've got Dickey in. He's been that kind of solid replacement, yet still playing all the attacking balls going forward as well, which is what you want to see from your centre back. So yeah, he was a really exciting signing. I'm glad to get him in. But my favourite signing for the summer would be Jason Knight.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Anything to add, Mark?
No, not really. I think really history with Bristol City and Coventry games has always been very close games. So yeah. I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. I think from our point of view, Stuart, what do you think about from our point of view? Do you think we're going to make many changes from Norwich game if you're Mark Robbins' boots?
Again, it depends on who comes back from injury really, because obviously we did have a fair few come out, and the obviously with Jason Knight playing for Ireland and stuff, and he could have done with the rest. We've had a few people that have had that week-long rest or a couple of weeks rest, and I think that will help us out because Ben Sheaf's due back, Casey Palmer's due back, Cal O'Hare is slowly coming back. Again, it might be too soon for him. But we've got players coming back that needed a little bit of a rest, and hopefully the other players as well have been kind of rejuvenated, if you like, having this week-long couple of weeks rest. The only one, obviously, that's played for Jamaica is Joel Latibodiere, but even with him, we know that he can come back because he came back from the last international duty. First game was Hull, and he scored a wonderful header and he started. So, he's got bags full of energy as well. So the honest answer is I don't think there's going to be many changes because I don't think they're needed, in all honesty. I think the only change will be up front. I'd probably like to see Godden start with Sims rather than Hadji, just because I don't think it's quite clicked yet with them two. But ultimately, he could opt for Hadji and Sims again anyway, to give them a little bit longer together, depending on how they've done in training, really, as well, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I think the other names maybe is Ben Sheaf. I think he might come back into the team. So I think he might be back from a groin injury. So that's another possible change that Robbins might make. But I'm useless at predicting Mark Robbins' teams. The teams I always go for, Mark Robbins goes the opposite to me. So I'm not an expert on predicting his teams.
Yeah, so, definitely.
I was going to ask Eve about aspirations for Bristol City this season. I mean, what's considered a good season for Bristol City? Do you think Nigel Pearson is under pressure in terms of maybe trying to push to the playoffs, or what's considered a good season for Bristol City?
I mean, we're a very solid middle of the table championship side. Every season we seem to be finishing there. No one has really mentioned the P word this year. You don't want to get carried away, do you?
Or P-offs, not.
Well, yeah, maybe that's what you'll be calling them after last season.
Yeah.
But I think, we're still building, and as I said, being so inconsistent. If we were to get to the playoffs, we are not ready to go up. But if you go back a few seasons to COVID year, we were just so boring to watch. It was abysmal. You just couldn't see where the next points were coming from. And I feel like we're not in that place now, even though you can go on these runs of some really big sides in the league this year. And you're going on a run, and it's not the most exciting to watch. But you just try and pick at the points where you can. Anyone can beat anyone in this league. So I think if we just try and keep building on that, we seem to have a lot of players that have come through our academy, which is something that is really good to see, especially in this day. Whether you can compete with those teams that are coming down from the Premier League with that, I don't know, but it's something that I hope we will continue to do. And if we can keep hold of our players rather than keep selling them to Bournemouth, that would be great as well. But I think, keep building on the previous year. And I'm going to put my neck out and say another solid mid-table finish for us this season. I don't think we'll be in the playoffs.
Fair enough.
Do you think Nigel Pearson's the manager to take you to the P-offs, if you like?
You know what? I think he's definitely got a plan, and as long as he has got the backing from the club, which he does appear to have, then why not? He still seems to have the fans on side. He's got the players on side, and again, in recent seasons, we haven't seen that. I think my question would be, if not Nigel Pearson, then who? And I don't know who that would be. So for now, it is working. He is building his own team. So yeah, you never know, but not this season, I don't think. But you never know. We could
never know.
Having a conversation in January, February time when we play at your place.
Yes, yeah, definitely. What do you see as, from your point of view, what do you see as our threats to you?
I know that you are going to bring a lot of people on Saturday, and you can be noisy. So that is definitely going to be one threat when you have a 12th man on your side. Obviously, you spent a lot of money over the summer, got a lot of new players in, and I know that you have been hit by these injuries as well. So not sure who is going to be fit on Saturday. But I think it could be anyone's game.
Okay. So on that then, what would be your prediction then for Saturday's game? What are you actually going for?
Well, I can't come on here and say that we're going to lose, can I? So, dear me. I'm going to go. If I say 2-1 City, then it could be either City, couldn't it? No, I'm going to go 2-1 Bristol City.
Any goal scorers in that? Naki Wows is out for you, isn't he? That's a big loss.
Yeah, very big. But hopefully, Tommy Conway will be starting on Saturday, which he hasn't done for a very long time. So I'll go Conway 2, and you want me to predict your goal scorer?
If you really want to.
Hadji
Wright.
Yeah.
Hadji Wright, yeah.
Okay, interesting. What about you, Mark? Score predictions?
Well, notoriously I like sitting on the fence, but I've got to be positive. So I'm going to go 1-0 to Sky Blues. Tight game. I think Ellis Sims will get another cheeky goal for us. So I'm hopeful that will happen. I must admit, Conway is a bit of a worry for me because I think he'll be a good striker, and I saw some of his goals against Rotherham in that win. So I think he'll be a danger for us, looking from on the other side of the fence. So if we can keep the strikers quiet, and we've been pretty good defensively, I think we can get that result. But it's always close games at Bristol City. They're always, the league tells you we're only above them by 3 goals. So we're probably fairly similar level-ish at the minute, but I'm backing us to win. I've got to be positive, so I'm going to go for a 1-0 to the Sky Blues.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, it is going to be a close game. I think again, as always, I think the first goal is going to be massively important. Whoever gets that, could go on to win the game. I am going to go for a 2-1 Coventry City this time. I think we will concede, but I think it will be in between our 2 goals to make it interesting. I'm not going to have any predictions on the actual goal scorers. I'm not going to do that one because I just don't know. I'll go Ellis Sims with a brace. That would be quite nice. So right. Just to finish off then, Eve, I like to finish on a word association. So I'll give you just a couple of words, and you just give me a 1-word or a 2-worded answer. Nothing too hard, so don't worry about it too much, all right? So the first one is Ashton Gate.
Cider.
Okay. Nigel Pearson.
Legend.
Okay. Next player that you expect big things from.
This isn't very good word association, is it? Sam Bell.
Okay. Season so far.
Typical Bristol City.
And the last one, her game 2.
Oh my goodness.
I should have given you these to prepare, shouldn't I?
I know.
Say that again.
Yeah. Welcoming.
Welcoming.
Feels
Like
rubbish,
it.
Yeah.
Like it. That's fine. That's fine. Right, before we finish off then, Mark, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm going to the game at Ashton Gates. That's my first visit personally, so I'm looking forward to going. So I'm hoping to see Scarpers win. So looking forward to it. I know it's always a close game to Bristol City, so and I'm sure it'll be a really good atmosphere. So yeah, can't wait to go, and I hope Scarpers win. That's Coventry City winning, not the other City winning. So fingers crossed that will happen. Yeah, let's see what happens. Bring it on.
Lovely. So just before we go then, Eve, if you can just let us know your social medias and where we can find you and her game.
Yeah, so her game 2, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is at her game 2. And I'm not actually sure what my social media handles are. I'm Eve Rao, so I'm on Twitter and occasionally post football things on there. Okay,
lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming on, Eve. Much appreciated. Nice to hear a little bit more about her game 2 as well. Like I said, I didn't know much about it, to be fair, but I've been on the website and stuff, and I've had a little bit of a read on there as well. So people can find you on the website and things like that as well. The same as always for us. You can find us at All Things Sky Blue on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We are partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar. If you like what you hear, please go and like and subscribe. We're much appreciated on our YouTube channel as well. All I can say is thanks again, Mark, for coming on.
Thanks, Stuart. Cheers.
And thanks again for Eve for coming on. Thank you very much. Play up
Thanks,
Sky
Eve.
Blue.
Cheers.